Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Wilson. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this service at the First Universalist Church of Rochester. If this is your first time here this morning, we especially welcome you and thank you for making it to our worshiping community. We invite everybody to remain after the service for coffee hour in the Clara Barton Lounge behind me or online in the same Zoom link. Today is the beginning of our month-long pulpit swap, and so I want to introduce Reverend Cindy Terlazzo. Reverend Cindy was ordained as a UU minister in 2020, and she served the UU congregation in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in a part-time position for 4 years, while also being engaged as a full-time social worker, providing support for individuals with developmental disabilities. And intellectual disabilities. Cindy and her husband moved to Rochester to be closer to family, and she's currently serving UU congregations in both Canandaigua and Watertown. Like many of you, Reverend Cindy is committed to meeting the times we are living in with as much bold love as she can. Welcome, Reverend Cindy. There is a visitor's form that can be filled out and found in the back of your order of service or by clicking the link in the chat. We ask you to fill this out so that we can offer you a welcome beyond what we can this morning, and so you can get to know what's going on here at the church and stay up to date. Just a reminder, if you have a big joy or sorrow in your heart this morning, we invite you to write it in the notebook here on the chancel or online in the chat before the chalice is lit. So now is a good time to do that. I'm going to turn your attention to some announcements in the order of service. This afternoon, we have the Eastman Organ Department Community Concert right here at 4 o'clock. Next Saturday, we have 2 events. The Leadership Assembly from 9 to 12. If you are interested in leadership in the church or are already involved, you are strongly encouraged to attend. There is also an event linked with Spiritus Christi Church about bail reform. There's a panel discussion, including our local district attorney and our state senator. And proceeds benefit the Franklin Florence Civil Rights Heritage Site, which is a part of a former FIAC congregational project. Lastly, this announcement is not in your order of service, but this Tuesday at 7:30 here, leaders from all around Rochester, area faith leaders and clergy, are going to have a conversation about how our faith speaks to the current moment, especially with regard to immigration and federal actions. So if you're interested, arrive and be here at 7:30. I imagine there will be quite a few of us here. Before we take a moment to turn towards our neighbor in person, let's say hello to our online community. Let's wave towards the camera in the back by the Progress Pride flag. If you're online, you can pop a greeting into the chat and say hello to your fellow online parishioners. And if you are here in person, let's take a moment to turn towards our neighbor and offer a greeting this morning. All right, everybody, we are going to get started with our opening hymn, number 298 in the gray hymnal, Wake Now My Senses.
morning, First Universalist. I'm Tom Williams, he, him, and I'm your worship associate today. On the first Sunday of every month, you'll see me performing the duties of an usher/greeter at one of the entrances to the sanctuary. During that time, as people enter the sanctuary, I am the face of this congregation. I try to greet everyone with a smile and a warm welcome. If I don't know you as a member or friend of the congregation, I may ask you if it's your first time at First Universalist. When the answer to that question is yes, it's my first time, my response is always, well, you have just entered a special place. Why is First Universalist such a special place? My answer, because we love each other here. Our affirmation of faith covenants that we live together in peace, not just here in this sanctuary, but in our lives outside these walls. Over the past 2 years, your Committee on Ministry has penned a covenant of right relations and its policy of responsible behavior. This month's Outlook will contain a link to the covenant and the policy. We on the committee hope you will read through it for those times when conflict arises. There is a decal in the Clara Barton Lounge that reads, "Love, not fear, spoken here." When we follow the covenants of our faith and the covenants of the congregation, love is not only spoken here, but love grows here and here. When we meet each other here each week in this sanctuary and in this faith, may our love for each other and for all continue to grow. Come, let us worship together. As Lisa Gwinner comes forward to light our chalice at First Universalist, and you light your chalice in your own homes, please join me in our chalice lighting words, spoken in unison. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please rise now for our affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. I invite you now into the spiritual practice of generosity. The good work of this church is funded by the gifts that you give. Part of that good work is the ministry of the Coffee Hour team. Coffee Hour is a meaningful time of fellowship and community building, and this team makes it possible by handling the food, drink, and the cleanup. Would anyone who has volunteered to help with Coffee Hour raise your hands, here and online? Nice showing. We are so grateful for your contributions to this life of this church. Let us give with grateful hearts this morning. Please place your offering in the offertory basket online by scanning the QR code on the back of your order of service. This is also a great time to place visitor forms in the offertory basket. For folks online, please click on the link in the chat to give to First Universalist Church. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
invite forward any kiddos who are here with us in church or just folks who want to be close for the story. And if you are joining us via Zoom and have any kiddos that you want to make sure don't miss the story, you can invite them over to the screen now. Oh, I forgot to put it down for you ahead of time if you want to have something extra to sit on. And today I'm going to be telling the story with Reverend Cindy. And for as much as I always think, oh, everyone knows this story, I realized last night my little one didn't know this story, and there are many different ways to tell a story. So today's story is called The Emperor's New Clothes. Once there was an emperor who needed a fine new set of clothes to wear in the grand parade. He called his 2 finest cloth weavers to order one, and they looked at each other and decided this would be a chance to make a little extra money on the deal.
Oh, Emperor once said, we have invented the most marvelous cloth. It'll cost you a little extra, but it is magic. It is so magic that people can't see it if they are stupid or lazy or not good at their jobs. So, not only will your majesty look your absolute royal best, you will also be able to tell immediately who you should fire from their jobs.
The emperor thought, I've been wondering who those people are. I'll take it, he said.
Off went the weavers to work. Oh, but they were slow. The emperor sent in one of his wisest advisors to check on their progress. When he got there, he saw the 2 of them doing nothing at all. It looked like they were waving their arms, their hands back and forth in front of the loom, but there was no cloth coming out. Still, he didn't want the emperor to think that he was dumb or lazy, so he rushed back and said, "It is awesome, you will love it."
Finally, the day arrived, and the weavers brought the suit in for the emperor to use. What do you think? Isn't it beautiful? It's amazing, right?
Well, the emperor thought the same thing, but he felt a wave of panic. Oh no, am I one of the dumb, lazy people? And does this ring a bell at all? He couldn't say that, so he asked them to help him put it on. He felt embarrassed when he looked in the mirror because it looked like he was wearing nothing. But the weavers pulled here and creased there, and then they oohed and ahed and admired how wonderful it looked on him. Then it was time for the grand parade and the emperor's big entrance.
The crowds cheered at the parade for the acrobats and the dancers and the horses. And then someone called out, "It's time for the emperor!" And the emperor came out completely naked. Everyone got really quiet. Someone said, "Huzzah for the emperor!" And the other person said, "He looks like a new man."
But one little boy said, "He's not wearing any clothes." And the parade stopped.
I think we should make up an ending to this story. What do you think happened next? Revolution! I love it.
Revolution.
Viva la revolution! anything could happen. What's that?
Impeachment.
Impeachment? He might be grabbed, or booed, or cheered, or one thing.
He was committed.
Ran away in embarrassment.
A regime change. Took away his royal title.
The clothiers for $10 million.
Yes, that makes sense to sue the royal weavers and clothiers.
Put some tariffs on it.
I think worst case scenario, and one I didn't think about when I was a kid, because I was like, oh, that kid is so brave. I'm like, but why is he brave? Well, what if everyone decided to double down and say, oh, that the kid's the problem. Lock him up. Send him away. Him and his whole family and everyone who's ever seen him or thought of him.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways this story could have ended. And you know, we really don't know what's going to happen when we tell the truth. But it is an incredibly brave thing to do to tell the truth, and it is always important to speak up.
And I think as the kids and the childcare staff and I go upstairs to talk a little bit about the first follower and the importance of that, the first person to go along with following the truth and saying it again, and what is truth as we launch into this theme for the next 2 months, please join me in singing our doxology, and we'll head upstairs.
I invite you now into this reverent time of sharing the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place your hand over your heart to be able to listen from this heart-centered place. We know so much is going on in our world today, and if you have joys or sorrows to share on behalf of our national or global community, you are truly encouraged to do so today and into the future. As Tom Williams places stones into a bowl, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. Richard shares a joy that this past Friday, Reverend Sherry Kwan, along with other local pastors who went to Minneapolis, were on Evan Dawson's radio program to talk about their experience. A joy from John Lukes that over 30 folks protested at City Hall the inhumane treatment of dogs being left outside in below freezing weather. There's a group of dog rescue folks who have been finding and saving these dogs throughout the city who so far has shown less than appropriate concern. A concern from Jean, thinking of Ukraine as it enters 4 years of war since Russia's invasion. A joy again from John, who is glad to see Eileen Fernandez back, recovering from a health concern, and who is joining us online today. Today, we also share in a community ritual to honor the many joys and sorrows we bring into this space, whether read aloud or kept in the silent sanctuaries of our heart. In a moment, those here in person will be invited to come forward to drop stones into the bowl. If you need to remain seated, please raise your hand or have a neighbor signal to us so someone can come and bring you a bowl to drop stones in. If you're joining us online, please send a heart emoji in the chat. Let us all join now in this collective ritual of honoring the joys and sorrows of us all. Really briefly, I just realized there was a page I had missed in the Joys and Sorrows notebook, so I will share those next week. Thank you for your understanding. May this ceremony remind us that we are never alone in our sorrow, and may our joys uplift our community. Now the circle of our care is drawn larger, and may it increase forevermore.
I invite you now into a time of reflection, of meditation, of prayer with the words of Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life, eternal mystery that holds us close, receive the meditations of our hearts this day. We come together in this quiet moment to unify our hearts again towards the clarion call of these times. May justice and equity guide us to great connection and a greater truth. Our part is just as great: to approach dismantling systems of oppression within each of us in order for us to all be free. To know that when I cherish and tend to the divine spark within me, when I know in my bones that I am worthy of love and whole just as I am, that there is greater potential for mutual understanding and care, that love is not scarce. When I know these things, our ability to extend compassion and grace can be. I now place my hand over my heart, and I know that I can feel the spirit of life within me. I invite each of you to place a hand over your heart and feel the spirit of life within you. The spirit of life is divine within us. The spirit of life is here now. This is the beginning of justice and equity when we go within in order to be of service to our communities and our world. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.
Just as we've been doing for this season, our hymn of contemplation is number 95, There is More Love Somewhere, which has 4 verses. Since our topic this season is truth, we're going to add a 5th verse, which you won't see on the screen, but the 5th verse will be There is More Truth Somewhere.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a delight to be here with you today as we explore this idea of truth. So a friend of mine recently moved to a small town in New Mexico, and the name of the town is Truth or Consequences. And the town changed its name from Hot Springs as a result of a radio show contest in 1950. And when my friend mentioned that this was the name of the town, I laughed just like you did. I thought it was pretty funny. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, don't we all live in such a place, in a world filled with a search for truth and the related consequences that arise from such a search? As many of you know, our fourth principle invites us to engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And I think that's quite an assignment. Would you agree? That's an assignment to look for truth and meaning. Seeking the truth of who you are can take a lifetime. Trying to ascertain the truth contained in various religions is challenging when people come away with such an array of understandings from the very same texts. Attempting to stay current with the rapidly unfolding truths presented to us through science can be mind-boggling. And in today's world, with facts being tossed aside for the most convenient story to support a particular agenda, well, seeking truth and meaning can be exhausting. And yet we keep searching, don't we? Seeking a way to make sense of our world, seeking a way to have our inner and our outer experiences align and result in something that feels true and authentic. You know, there's a common phrase that goes something like this: the truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. You know, how often on a search for the truth in your life have you run up against this? And from the laughter, I think that many of you have. So it makes sense to me that on a search for truth and meaning, a good place to start is seeking the truth of who you are. And this can be quite an endeavor. The reward of feeling fully at home in our own skin, I believe, is worth all it takes to arrive there, but the path to such a place can be fraught with so many consequences as we take this journey. Some of us are raised in environments that are in opposition to what our inner truth tells us, which can result in all kinds of labor to sort out what we keep and what we leave behind from those families of origin. The path to fully becoming asks that we are honest with ourselves, that we identify and articulate for ourselves what we most value, and then that we live those values in the world. We have to be willing to listen to our heart's own stirrings. We have to be willing to follow those stirrings, which can result in discomfort. Maybe such a discernment will ask us to leave a job, leave a relationship, begin a new endeavor, speak up even when it's hard. Maybe we will need to leave behind cherished habits. Maybe we will need to challenge our own thinking as well as the thoughts and actions of others in our lives. A young friend of mine recently had top surgery as he took this significant step toward his own becoming, his own search for truth and meaning. His non-linear journey to align his body and life with his gender identity held many consequences, including coming out, changing his name and pronouns, dealing with depression, updating legal documents, and so much more. His mother, though, shared with me that since the surgery, she has seen such a change. Her son has become himself in ways that she was not certain he ever would. Truth and consequences. Now, not all of our searches will result in such dramatic changes, but I believe that all such searches do ask us to change. Personal changes are needed to align the truth of our evolving lives. Leaving the family home, adjusting to an empty nest, facing the reality of the loss or even the beginning of a job or a relationship, and then adjusting to what comes next, and then recognizing the changes of aging bodies and finding ways to be true to what those changes entail. And then there is the truth that we are living in a country which has been aspirational since its inception, and which at this moment in time is experiencing a harsh reckoning with the truth. We are currently living in a world in which some have chosen lies over facts, chosen power over others rather than power shared, chosen greed over communal well-being, chosen violence over peace. Each of us must do our own search for how we align our values with these realities, which, if we're going to be honest here, have been the realities of so many of our siblings throughout this nation's history. We are living in a world which I believe is demanding us to wake up, to take all the nice language we have so carefully crafted in our principles and values and figure out how to live into them. The ways that we choose to live into what we say we believe will look different for each one of us. Not all of us are able to be on the front lines of change, but each of us can find the actions that are true for us. We know that this current regime is doing all it can to try to convince us that what we are seeing with our own eyes is not true. They are trying to tell us to close our eyes, to comply with things that are so very harmful to all of us, and to simply get in line. Truth-telling has consequences. We see this every day. We've seen the cruelty and harm that has resulted when people tell the truth. Yet we have also seen the beauty, the power, and the inspiration that results when ordinary people like you and me become brave enough to say enough and then take action. We see the truth in the power of communal care. We feel the truth of what can happen when we put love at the center of what we do. People who have studied the rise and fall of authoritarian rule have found that when just 3.5% of a country's population consistently engages in nonviolent means of protest against such rule, that government is very likely to fall from power. Now, for those who find visual examples helpful, the following short video brings this concept to life. So we're going to take a look in just a moment at the truth and consequences involved in the physics of dominoes. And this is going to show us that you need only a little bit of push to get to a tipping point, which enables a seemingly impossible chain reaction. So here we go.
Everybody knows about playing with dominoes, but what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. So what I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Two. That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
So don't let anyone tell you that whatever small actions you take can have tremendous consequences. And like our story earlier in the Time for All Ages, we don't know what the future will hold. We don't know what is going to happen when we tell the truth, but we do know that truth-telling is an act of bravery And it is so very important and so very needed. And friends, it is the call of our times. May it be so. At this point, our closing hymn is a song. The tune is to the tune of Finlandio. And if you like to see the music, you can look at hymn 159 in the gray hymnal for the music. I think you'll find that it's very familiar. The lyrics are going to be on the screen, so you may rise in body and or spirit to sing along. As we close our service this morning, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you are joining us online, I invite you to turn your settings to gallery now and look upon the faces of those here with you today. For those of us in this room, take a moment to look around at those who are here with you today. Our closing words today are by Reverend Leslie Takahashi. They teach us to read in black and white. Truth is this, the rest false. You are whole or you are broken. Who you love is acceptable or not. Life tells its truth in many hues. We are taught to think in either or, to believe the teachings of Jesus or Buddha or Allah, to believe in human potential or a power beyond a single will. I am broken or I am powerful. These are teachings. Life, though, embraces multiple truths, speaks of both and. We are taught to see in absolutes, good versus evil, male versus female, old versus young, gay versus straight. Let us see the fractions, the spectrum, the margins. Let us open our hearts to the complexity of our world. Let us make our lives sanctuaries to nurture our many identities. The day is coming, friends, when we will all know that the rainbow world is more gorgeous than monochrome, that a river of identities can ebb and flow over the static, stubborn rocks in its course, that the margins hold the centers. And that is what we are called to do, friends. So immediately following our service, you are all invited to coffee hour. Everyone can join us in the Clara Barton room or online in the current Zoom meeting. We hope to see you there. Our prelude will be performed now. Oh, and we're going to extinguish the chalice. And I think that we have some lovely words here to extinguish the chalice with. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. And may it be so.